Hello and welcome to Opt to Thrive, episode 60. Happy spouse, happy house, a partner's perspective on menopause.
Welcome to Opt to Thrive, your go-to podcast for women's wellness in midlife, designed to educate, support, and inspire you to live your very best life. And now your host, Dr. Karina Sims.
I think most of us would agree that menopause doesn't just affect the woman that it is happening to, but it can have an impact on her entire life and all of her relationships, and in particular, the relationship that she has with her partner. In a sense, we're kind of going through this whole thing together. So, for a while, I've been wanting to have a partner on the show to explore the impacts on the woman and the relationship from his perspective. I have, in fact, had a couple of requests for this along the way. So, today, that is exactly what we're going to do. Now, if you've been listening recently, you would have heard our guest, Marianne, tell her very inspirational story of how she really did do a midlife health and body reset. And in that interview, we talked about how her partner, Ian, had been a big part of supporting her through this process. We talked about how he was there actually with her from that first appointment that we had around all of this midlife stuff. And I've seen him kind of in the background during the whole process. So after that interview with Marianne, after the mic was turned off, I asked him if he'd be interested in coming on the show and sharing his perspective of what it's like being a partner through this whole midlife transition. I'm very curious and I'm very excited to see how this conversation is going to go and where it's going to go. So welcome, Ian, to the show.
Thanks, Karina. What a thrill to be asked to actually follow in some of the people that you have interviewed, and I'm thinking, wow, to be included in that sort of group is amazing. So, thanks for the chat.
Yay! Okay, so let's start with, we'll just go back. So you just told me, but for our listeners, let's go back. How long have you known Marianne and how long have you been married?
I've known Marianne for 42 years, and we've been married for 40 years, January this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it's been a long ride.
So you're doing something special for that anniversary?
We didn't really, but because there was so much else happening with our life with regards to, selling our business and other things and, other property issues, and it was hot. There was just too much going on, but we actually we're officially retired. We've got a cruise lined up in end of October, which is going to be a bit of a first for us in that regard. So Marianne's paranoid about seasickness, but so we just play along with that. It's going to be fun. So that's probably going to be a belated little celebration.
How exciting. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I thought that was part of the celebrations. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you feeling about this conversation that we're going to have today?
I'm really excited, and Marianne's told me I'm not allowed to get on my soapboxes or start quoting too much of ancient philosophers and carrying on. So she says, just pull your head in a little bit and just answer the questions. But I'll probably go off on a tangent. That's all right.
That's right. It's all edited in. And we've also had the discussion about how, we're going to be very careful about, respecting Marianne's privacy. So let's see how we go. Now, I want to go back to maybe when you first started noticing the changes that maybe you didn't realize when it was happening, what was happening in hindsight, where they say hindsight's 2020. Can you take us back to that time?
Yeah, I think even though we're only 62, I mean, we sort of look at ourselves as being of we were just on the edge of that baby boomer generation, being born in 64. We're probably still of that, suck it up and get on with it, very stoic sort of mentality that, you still got to turn up every day for work. You still got to turn up every day for your responsibilities and liabilities and all that sort of thing, regardless of how you're feeling. You just get up and get on with it. And no one really cares. You just got to do it. So, but things thankfully are changing, and I think again there's more opportunity to learn about things now and ask questions and not put up with things. So Marianne sort of started her menopause, I thought, quite early. She was in a probably I think maybe things started showing in her late 40s and into the 50s, early 50s, and it sort of did drag. And it was obvious that she was suffering, and, with her hot flushes and her night sweats and restlessness and, the irritability, such a short fuse, lethargic. She would, if she sat down, she'd nod off. And I mean, even watching a TV show, I really, really want to watch this, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, no worries. First advert, you're going to nod off, and of course she did. And then 2 hours later, I'd be something else was on the telly, and she'd wake up and go, "Hey, I was watching that show," and I said, "Oh, that show that finished an hour and a half, 2 hours ago." Oh,
That has got to be a conversation in many households because I know it's happened in mine many times.
exactly. So, and there's all these telltales. And and I was always on her about it. But again, it just wasn't talked about. I mean, yeah, her mum would never have had a conversation about it with her, and all the other stuff. And, in our day, if it wasn't on the telly, or you read about it in a magazine, it didn't exist. Not like nowadays, where the opportunities to share information and communication is, it's huge now what you can find out. And I mean, I've loved it because the research I've done to try and find out things and what's available and where things are at currently, is amazing. And I sort of, enjoyed that research, and to say, Marianne, come on, we need to do something about it. And you just learn to, I suppose, tiptoe around things. You just, I suppose we've worked together for, oh my goodness me. I mean, we're in business for ourselves for 25 years, working together, 7 days a week, not 24 hours a day, but um, you learn to sort of tiptoe around things and see the signs and think, okay, I'm going to leave her alone today, um, or what can I do around the house? Because I do all the cooking anyway, but that's another thing. You just try and think, what can I take off of her plate to make things easier or whatnot, and I suppose shield her from confrontation down the street or with customers or staff or things like that. So. It was just starting to get that something needed to be done. So, and then all of a sudden, this new doctor arrived and started making a few noises, and I thought, finally, okay, this is good. And of course, then that initial meet with you was terrific.
I remember that very vividly. And during that consultation, I very specifically remember thinking that you have come here to argue this case. But then there was no argument because I was right there with you. Let's do it. Because she was
Oh,
close to she was close to that kind of cutoff 60 mark, wasn't she? So we had to be a little more
no, no,
careful.
she wasn't at any cutoff.
Yeah, from your perspective, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I had all this stuff in my head that I'd read, and all of those reports and surveys and tests and all those things. And look, I mean, I thought it was that it was priceless. Your face when you started talking about a certain report that you thought was only, for medical to, and I said, yeah, I know that report. Here's the lady that wrote it, blah, blah, blah. These were the findings. These are my arguments. And you went, oh, crikey, I've met my match now.
That was very exciting because it's not very often we see that. So I wasn't going to get an argument from you, and you weren't going to get an argument from me. We were on the same page.
Exactly, exactly. And I had to go to that meeting because Marianne's no, yeah, shy, but she doesn't say much. Oh, used to didn't say much, and she'd go to a doctor's appointment, and I'd go, oh, how'd you go? How'd you go? About this, about that. Oh, I didn't talk about that. Oh, I didn't talk about that. And I said, right, we're going to this appointment with a lady doctor, and I'm coming, and if I have to, I'm taking over.
Now, I want to go back a bit before that because, as you said, she was experiencing, you think, symptoms from kind of the late 40s. And I'll just throw out there for our listeners that, perimenopause can start in the late 30s. So,
Yes.
late 40s is still, reasonably relatively shorter period of time. But it took a while for you guys to come and address it. Now, before we started this conversation today, I had a conversation with my husband about, what, as a man, what are the kind of things that you would be wanting to know or talk about or address? And it was actually a really lovely conversation. But one of the things that he mentioned was that often in this process, the man can feel a bit of rejection or take just wonder what the hell is going on here. And so I wonder, in that period of time before you guys came to address it, is that something that you went through?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And I think particularly with irritability, that there was lots of things, particularly at work, when things started to mount up, or if oh, delivery wasn't made and we got to get this job out tomorrow, what are we going to do? Or a customer that was haranguing, or just little things would start to mount up, and then all of a sudden you could sense that there was just going to be this go away, leave me alone moment. And from there, that's when that comes home, and then it's just you start to say something, and then um, you know straight away she's already got an answer in her head to say back, and or fire something back, and I think, oh, let me finish the sentence, because you're completely on the wrong tangent of what I'm about to say. And there was always that sort of thing, and often it was, you get that sort of, oh, like you shut down, you withdraw, you don't bother saying anything because it's going to get misconstrued. Only half of it's going to get heard. Yeah, so everything, things sort of get quiet, and you lose that sense of proper communication, because you're just treading on eggshells, not wanting to have any form of confrontation. And it's in all aspects of life. I mean, you just sit there and watch television, not say anything, or I just read, and I can't watch TV and not read and look at stuff on my iPad. I'm always that busy, and that was my escape. And then particularly, like I say, an intimate level, I mean, that was harder too. I mean, we used to do an awful lot of library sex, which I don't know if you're familiar with that. And that's
Not.
where the husband just sits quietly in the corner and reads a book.
Okay. My husband doesn't do a lot of reading, so
Um,
I can't
where,
I can't say we've had a lot of library sex.
but yeah, it's everything. I mean, the old that saying, the stupid saying, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's every bloke understands what that means. I think you've got to turn it around. And so much the women need to take this on board too. But instead of happy life, happy wife, it's got to be happy spouse, happy house.
Oh, I like
And
that.
it's a holistic thing. It's not just Yeah, it's not just the blokes have to keep trying to bend and dodge and weave and all that sort of thing. Come on, you ladies, get your act together. There's people out there that are just dying to help you, and get on board and do it not just for yourself, but for your partner. Do it for your partner, your husband, your brothers, your sons, your closest friends, your whole social circle, the whole community.
I have to hand it to you guys because not only is this hard in a relationship when you do not work together, but not only did you work together, but you ran a business together and you went through all of this at the same time. That's pretty spectacular. And I imagine, as you pointed out, there was this period of time where it sounds like you were trying to navigate it the best that you could. And I suppose now with hindsight, if there's some couples that are kind of in that stage where they're, really struggling, in hindsight, are there any things any advice that you could offer? Or did you find ways that you could manage that, that worked well for you guys?
I look, I just, I think it was a case of I was always out there trying to support her, even to the stage of, how you took that. There's lots of that talk about brain fog, and I was sort of having to find that when she couldn't get the words out of her head, I was sort of finishing her sentences, or if we're out and about. And Marianne was struggling to, get her point across or whatnot, I would sort of also help in and, try and deflect some of her confusion away from her, and I would sort of step up. I'll probably get told off for saying that, but the brain fog is real. And the mood swings are real, and the wanting to sleep is real. I mean, there's all those. It's because when you do study it, the female body is just taking on the most cruel, should I say, reprogramming, which affects every part of her physical, mental, spiritual part of her. So there's so much happening, and I think it'd be really good for the blokes just to just Google it, just sit in the corner and Google it, and just have a little appreciation of what is actually happening to them and what changes your women are experiencing. Then it becomes obvious what you need to do.
It's interesting that you say that because that's one of the things that my husband said as well is that, 50% of the population are going through this. Don't take it personally because it has nothing to do with you. And then once you can get to that, but I suspect that, if you looked back from the beginning of those changes to the time that you got around to that way of thinking, there was a transition for you as well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm a little unique in as far as we hadn't been married that long. And I mean, I picked up that famous book, Men from Mars, Women from Venus. I mean, God knows why that isn't compulsory reading at schools. You hear about these stupid efforts they do for, sex education and all that sort of thing at schools. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you've got no idea. Here, sit and read this book. That'll just give you, girls and boys a bit of an idea about what makes each other tick, regardless of all the other things that confusing the kids nowadays. But little things like that if you can understand what makes each other tick, you're halfway there.
When you talked about finishing your sentences or helping her with her thought process, how did that go over? Was that always well received?
Um, it was never an issue. I don't even think maybe she was even conscious I was doing it.
Okay. So it just kind of became part of what you guys did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was quite interesting when we were referred. We were always the duo. It was always, Marianne and Ian. There was never one or the other. It was always considered the duo. So it was quite nice in a way.
So taking us through to you've come along to this appointment. Was there anything that kind of made you like the catalyst of like, right, I'm going to go with you and we're going to get this sorted?
I suppose I saw this as an a real true opportunity to try and, what would I say, make the GP a little more accountable of dealing with Marianne as a true, not a client, but, we've come asking for help. We don't just want to get flicked off again. And that would have happened. Well, I was frightened that was going to happen if Marianne went by herself. So I thought, no, I'm going to take charge of this. And I thought I had enough research under my belt to put a good argument forward,
Yeah.
and to say, okay, right, it's up to you as the GP to take us seriously and do something about it, or okay, if you can't help us, where can we go? And that was my last little thing, is to say, okay, and then walking out the front saying, not paying this bill because we didn't get any attention, but fortunately.
Fortunately, I got paid. So, okay, so you would have found some resources that you thought were very helpful. Can you share those resources that others might?
Of course. I mean, the last thing a doctor wants to hear is a client hitting Google, but it was purely just to really, I mean, research and get ideas of what's happening out there, where the current pulse is. There were podcasts that were suggested that, I was a bit of an insomniac. I just couldn't turn off, and so at night time, I'd have my headphones on, and I was listening to podcasts through the night, using it as a brain distraction to turn off. And the stuff that I read through, I listened to for months and months on end of stuff from around the world. I mean, the amazing research that's currently happening in America is just the different angles that are being taken now is just amazing. And then to read all those medical studies, and the pivotal one that put everyone off hormone replacement because of risk of breast cancer. And of course, then the other report came up saying, oh look, those women were going to get breast cancer regardless of if they just drunk boiled water and a bit of toast every day, they were still going to get breast cancer. So that changed things again. And I think, as you know, that sort of really changed the whole world again to, okay, well, let's get down and start really looking into this. So I like to think I'm pretty well up with it, and also where things are presently and where things are going in the future. So that again, and that made me completely confident that I could, walk into your office and say, right, I want something done. And I think we were, as you said, we were lucky that Marianne really was, past that supposed 10-year point. But in America, they're saying, no, all our studies are showing that, you can. I mean, I listened to a podcast. There was a lady in her 80s, and she says, I still feel like a teenager because of what she's doing to help her look after herself. And you think, go you, that's fantastic.
Hmm. Yeah, so I think the line is a little bit arbitrary. I think we had to draw a line in the sand somewhere. We know that as we get older, a risk factor for heart disease is getting older. And so we know that there's some point for each woman that it probably is going to be harmful rather than beneficial, or that, that's going to outweigh the risk,
Absolutely.
outweigh the benefits, which is why we went down very carefully,
Yeah.
making sure that Marianne was still in that category, that this was actually going to be more beneficial than
Yeah.
harmful.
And as well, as I was very confident that because of the lifestyle we lead, that Marianne presenting herself at 60 years old, I thought, nah, she's still as good as any 40-year or younger that walks in her door. So I thought, again, her risk level and her suitability for what you've helped her with was more than fair and reasonable.
So let's talk about the treatment then. So she gets the
Yeah.
treatment, and what did you notice?
Well, it actually took a little while for sort of things to change. Straight away, oh yeah, physically there were some changes, and she started to put on a little bit more weight. That she was becoming a bit concerned with that, but there was very noticeable changes with her straight away, her attitudes, and her sleeping was better. She was incredibly more motivated, became I say open-minded, and once that was happening, I was able to start helping her to look at things and be a little more vulnerable, to be open to new thoughts and ideas and whatnot. And it then started to become, what do I say, really, life became really wonderful, and the sort of things that this is how it should be. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was really good. But everything on every level came better, and I think your Up to Thrive midlife group that you started, I mean, the timing was absolutely perfect for her. And Marianne doesn't usually do anything by half. If she says, I'm doing
I've
something,
noticed.
she'll do it at full tilt, almost to the point of being obnoxious. She can get quite competitive and quite I'm going to get told off for this one, egotistical. And I sort of, it was fun to watch. But no, but it has, the timing was perfect. And look, blind Freddie could sense or hear the difference in it, let alone see the difference. And it's been on every level she has changed. I personally reckon she's in the best space of her life at the moment.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think what I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we got the hormones sorted, and that was a beautiful foundation leading into then the lifestyle stuff that she went into changing. Is that
Yep, yep. We lifestyle is a big umbrella word, and I mean we've always been very diet conscious. As far as I mean, I grew up with a vegetarian mother, so I'm not afraid of vegetables. And that sort of has always been a big part in our lifestyle. That and we don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't. There's no violence. There's no gambling. We don't use the F word. All those sorts of goody two shoes type things. I mean, that's just normal life for us. The biggest difference was the motivation to no motivation, yeah, for the exercise. But in defence of that, we literally were too busy to do what we're doing, what you should do. There was not that knock off time to be able to go for a gym or go away for a weekend or go for a walk. It just wasn't in our program because it was just a tough slog. But the biggest thing now is, what Marianne needed to do was to get more physical. And yeah, she's taken that on board. But, as a result of that, I've sort of had to as well to keep that going. So I mean, it's my alarm that goes off at 20 to 6 in the morning, and I get up and put the kettle on and feed the cat and whatnot to get all those things going, ready to then go and do this 10K pavement pound that we do every morning. And then okay, well, let's get back. And then, look, it's 11 o'clock. Are you going off to the gym? Oh, yeah, I suppose. And then, yeah, so it's, look, I've lost 7 kilograms too since beginning of the
that's
year. So,
awesome? And that was going to be one of my questions was that trickle on effect, how it doesn't just affect the person doing it.
oh yeah, yeah, and it's good. I mean, the conversations we have when we're out walking. I mean, crikey, it's 2 hours of the morning we're out walking. So, the things, lots of things we talk about, and the books we read. So we're always very, uh, another word that sort of crops in now is mindfulness. And so, yes, we're trying to be very mindful of, that our discussions together, the environment around, trying to, find something new that we see for the day, being aware of the birds or other animals we see, and just different things like that is a bit of fun. So yeah, it's a very holistic thing. It's all encompassing actually. It's terrific.
So looking back now, and I guess, again, with the benefit of hindsight, if you're talking to other partners who are going through this with their partner, the male partner or the other partner, I guess if they're same-sex partners, the one that's watching the woman go through the menopause, um, what kind of advice would you have for them?
I think it's real. It truly is. It is happening to her. And listen first, I suppose. And she needs to know that she doesn't have to convince you that she's having problems, accept that she is having problems. And if your partner isn't prepared to, look at these issues, get out yourself and start researching it. Go and find things out. And if she is looking at things and reading and whatnot, learn alongside her. Both share the information together, so that, you can both understand what's happening as well as the female understands herself what's happening and why. And I suppose, don't let her feel that, she's doing this in isolation, that it does have an effect on your family plans, both with your next generation or your past generation. Things like your parents and greater family. And if you've got a younger family or teenagers, aging parents, we can only see it as being self-employed, but if you've got career ambitions or career issues, that share it, talk about it, those sorts of things, because that's having a huge impact. I mean, just, yeah, communicate. I mean, that's all right, we'll go down this path. Intimacy, I mean, seriously, it's damn important to have longevity of a partnership, and it is a partnership. I mean, you do need intimacy, and us blokes do need to feel that we are needed, and don't just keep shutting us down and or shutting out, and that that's an important part. And also, a lot of the podcasts I was listening to, the women sort of say, "Oh, I don't need that sort of thing anymore." Well, again, that's a mindset as well, that once you start getting yourself back, no, hang on, this is all coming out wrong. If you can get on top of all your issues, you'll start realizing, hey, I do need the intimate side of a partnership. And so at the end of the day, your partner is still your partner. And I think just stand beside her while she's going through all these things, and try and help her, find her way back to feeling whole again. I don't know. I think, yeah, too many women sort of fade away, accepting that this is their future and this is how it's going to be. But no, in this day and age, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think some beautiful advice there. I think what I've pulled out of that, probably the biggest one is the communication, and both ways that you're both
Yes.
talking about how you're feeling.
Be
And
vulnerable. Just yeah, if you can't, I'm gonna say, if you can't talk to your partner honestly and openly, and or be afraid of saying something, that's pretty sad.
that goes, I suppose, towards the intimacy part of that conversation, and whether the intimacy changes in some way. But again, that's a conversation between the two of you, what that looks like and what you both would like to have. Again, just boils down to that communication. And then I guess one of the other things that I just probably wanted to pull out there, it did, as we talked about, it took a while for you guys to come in. And I guess, again, hindsight, being so much clearer. If you had it to do over again, would you have come like in with demanding that care that were pretty much demanding at that appointment? Would you have done that 10 years earlier if you knew what you know now?
No, 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 because again, we're the older generation, and you just oh well, this is how it is. Suck it up.
Wow, so something's really changed, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, we haven't even gone down the osteoporosis bit yet. This is going to sound real strange, but osteoporosis diagnosis has perhaps been the best thing ever. It was the turning point to say, right, it's now or never. And that's again why, I sort of pushed for her to complete her hormonal triangle, which, yeah, I don't want to you're the doctor. You're supposed to talk about all these things, not me. Um, I was pushing to get that triangle closed because of the fact that and what reading and listening to that was so important to get her strength and to try and hold it and stop it progressing. And as you know, bloody hell, we've stopped it and reversed it. And but you often hear people who had heart attacks saying it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because it really woke me up.
Yeah.
And changed my life. And so yeah, we're looking at the osteoporosis that probably if she would have been told 10 years ago, she would have said, oh yeah, okay, just like me mum, and just lived with it and gone on. But now it's an opportunity to go, hey, this is 2026, anything's possible.
It's interesting that you should say that because it's probably about the time that you guys came in that was actually listed as one of the treatments that we could look at using estrogen in terms of osteopenia, osteoporosis. It was, but before that, it wasn't something that was really classified as a treatment that we could use as a first line. So your research was very, it was very up to date, and it would have been, just something that's come onto the scene. And I love that we've gone from that place where you're saying there was a time when if she got that diagnosis, it would have been like, oh well, that's just, another part of what's happening. And then now you said 2026, which this would have been 2023, 24. We're saying, look, like this is it's time we can actually treat this. And it sounds like that was a catalyst for everything that came after that, but it was at the right time.
It was, yeah, yeah. No, it was. It's been terrific. So it's marvelous.
And I hope, Ian, that you're lifting some weights and doing some strength training too, because it's not just women.
No, not yet.
What are you doing at 11 a.m.?
11 a.m. Oh, I've got to get Marianne ready to go out for lunch.
Right. Okay. Isn't she going to the gym at 11?
Not today. No,
Oh,
that's
right. Okay.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. Something to consider because it is important for men too. They're losing their muscle mass just, the same as women and with age. So important for your bones too.
Oh, look, totally agree. But yeah, no, that's true. Uh, look, it's really funny you should say. It's picture. I have to take a photograph of the back of our van at the moment because in a past life. All right, here would blow you away. When we first got married, um, Marianne and I were training to be. We were going to do a couples bodybuilding. We were training and we were to enter the couples section.
She didn't tell us that in her interview.
So there you go. There's a bit of information for you. So what all right, weights haven't been are not unknown to us to me. So we're clearing out all the stuff at work. Yeah, there's actually a gym set in pieces in the back of our van. There's probably 400 kilograms of plates and bars in the back of our van at the moment. So we're clearing up a little bit, and in soon that will be reassembled and set up in the carport.
Watch out, Cruz. You guys are going to be this buffed couple going on this cruise.
I don't know about. We're pretty happy. But I mean, to have this lady excited about going to buy her new bathers, a new pair of bathers to go on this cruise. I mean, she used to be so self-conscious. Oh, it is so worried that someone might look at her, so worried that someone might have a thought about her. And now she's just, yeah, it blossomed. So take a bow, Dr. Karina, take a
Oh, stop
bow.
it. She did it all.
No, no, you were the catalyst. And hey, all right, I'm going to talk to your listeners now. That I did my research about what else was out and about in this country that we could go to, and there is nothing. There used to be something out of I think it was Flinders University, but it was all about money, not about motivation to actually do something. Now, still, I have yet to find anything out there in the country that matches what you're doing, Karina. So take that on board. We're in the Riverland. We just don't know how lucky we are, and what were the chances of being in 2026 to be here in the Riverland and not in Africa or anywhere else in the universe? What are the chances of being here in the Riverland, in Renmark, in this point in time, and having access to yourself?
Those are
So
very kind words, Ian. Thank you. I appreciate that.
it's kind, but it's right down the line. It's no bullshit.
Well, it truly is a labor of love. I am absolutely, I just
Exactly.
love it. Love, 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 love it. So yeah,
Yes, and
enjoying
that
it.
shows, and it shows, and to so anyone out there, I'm going to do an unadulterated, shameless plug for you.
I
If
haven't
you're
paid for this.
if you're considering improving your lifestyle, just make an approach to Karina, and just there's so much there to help.
Thank you, Ian. Any last words for the men out there or the significant others out there who might be listening that we haven't touched on?
Um, Life is short. You only get one shot at this. And unfortunately, our society puts death is something you don't talk about, you don't touch. Oh, I'm going to get round and do this, try this one day. The average person has 28,000 days on this planet, and that's it. Okay. And I'm thinking, I'm 62. Theoretically, the best years are behind us. And so I've got to make the most of what's left. So you only get one shot at this, and you only get one body. We've only got one planet. So buck up your ideas and get out and try and do what you can, and have the best life possible.
Well said. Well said. And thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with me. I really appreciate this conversation that we've had today, Ian.
That's good. I'm glad I didn't have you too worried.
Not at all. And have a
No, it's
great.
been fun.
So that's it. That's what I've got for you guys today. My hope is that this can help other couples who are right there in the thick of it and really struggling to maybe gain a bit more perspective and maybe even start or deepen those conversations that are already happening. Personally, I know that my husband and I had very similar issues to what Ian talks about, and I see it all the time in my work. There was this progression from both of us feeling a bit alone and maybe even, no, actually, really kind of persecuted. He felt rejected and angry, and I felt pressured and angry, and I didn't like the changes to my body and my brain any more than he did. But eventually, with a lot of communication and education, we were able to have those really vulnerable and necessary, very important conversations. I am fully aware that there's going to be different personality types, different perspectives. Not every husband is going to do all the research and the homework that Ian has done, and even go so far as going into the appointment with her, ready to do the battle, if he had to. And as I've said before, my husband is a big, burly, Aussie bloke, farmer dude kind of guy. I'd go so far as saying, probably a typical kind of alpha male. So I thought it'd be interesting to get his opinion before this interview on things he thinks maybe I should explore or questions that I should ask. And his answers actually made me tear up. He said his take-home messages were to realize it's not her fault, to not take it personally. And he also said something to the effect of, if you think it's awful for you, imagine what it's like for her. Okay, now we didn't start that way. As I said, this was a progression, okay, over some years, actually. I do also very much appreciate Ian really selling my Midlife Health and Body Reset program. I honestly did not expect that. But again, I'm very appreciative, and I am just absolutely loving working with these women. I feel so privileged to be doing what I'm doing in the program and seeing these women make these incredible transformations, really resetting things. And it's just been such a privilege to be a part of that. That's what we do in the program. And it just so happens that the doors are opening at the end of July, early August for the next group to come through. So if this sounds like something that you might like to do, you might be interested in it, I'll leave a link in the show notes. I would absolutely love to have you in the program, to have you join us, me and a whole supportive group of women, all looking for the same things, to live the best life that they can in the best, healthiest, most energetic, confident body that they can. Have a great week, everyone. And until then, I hope you opt to thrive.
The Opt to Thrive podcast is designed for information purposes only and is not engaged in the giving of medical advice. The information provided on the podcast should not be used for diagnosing or treating a health problem or disease. In no way should the information provided by Opt to Thrive be considered medical advice, and at all times the advice of a medical professional should supersede recommendations from Opt to Thrive. If you have or suspect you may have a health problem, you should consult your healthcare provider. The views expressed in this podcast are purely that of Dr. Sims and do not in any way reflect those of the institutions she contracts for medical services to.
Thank you for listening to Opt to Thrive. If you've enjoyed listening, please rate and share the podcast. You can visit our website at opttothrive.com and leave a comment for any subjects you would like to hear more about.